Hello, thank you for joining us today. My name is Megan, and today we will be doing the scale down pour art. By now, you should have picked up your instructions in the Take and Make kit, which will include a canvas, some popsicle sticks, paint in assorted colors. You may not have the same colors of paint as me. That is important. So you're just going to have to work with what you got. A strip of cardboard, and that should be everything that's in the container with the instructions. Before you begin, be sure to have water on hand, and possibly some more protection for your table. It depends on where you're working and how opposed you are to leaving a mess. My hands already have paint on them from grabbing my paint, so I am pro mess. Lastly, you'll notice in the instructions we have said that you might want to have a hair dryer or a blow dryer. This is optional. You don't need this to do this program. It does make the drying process a little faster. We will not be using one in the tutorial because we don't have one on hand. But if you do, it does add some extra fun for your program. So give everyone a moment to get that stuff ready. All right, from this point forward, you are just going to be seeing the canvas I'm working on and the paint. So I'm going to tilt my screen downward. So we have, and I have mine on excess paper that we had since our cardboard is in the process of being cut up, but we have our canvas here and we have various colors of paint here to use. And the way this is going to work, if you follow with our instructions, is you will be adding water to the paint. You want this so that way it runs properly when you do this. Ooh, that is a lot of yellow in that one. So I'm just going to remove the lids off of these guys. And I'm going to add just a little bit of water to each of these because I want to try and use all my colors. We'll see how it goes. And there's a lot of yellow in that. And if you don't like the colors you have, you can always mix your colors. If that's the case, I would recommend doing that on a palette or something. Go get that nice and runny. The reason we add the water is to make the paint nice and runny, because otherwise it will just dry in a clump. Trial and error has taught me well on this craft. So shake it up. Shake, 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 shake it. Okay. Okay, so now that my colors are all shaken, and since I have a ton of yellow, I'm going to start with yellow as my first color. And the way this works, well, that's perfect. It's fine. Oh, that didn't mix as good. So if that's the case, you can also use your popsicle stick to blend your paint together. So good trial and error. Hopefully none of you get one that's this full. The plan is to put most of them into containers similar to the green, the gray, and the purple that I have. Just because if you have too much of one color, it's going to be hard to add the water, as I just demonstrated. But let's go ahead and add our first color. We're just going to pour it there onto the canvas as such. Then we're going to add our second color, and I'm going to go with this nice green. Keep that down. We're going to pour it just there on top of that. And it's going to go ahead and do that, or it might look like the picture where it's nice and pooled the way you want it. Then, I'm just dropping colors left and right. I'm going to do my purple. And I just want to do 3 for now, just to get started. And we're going to go ahead and tilt this all sorts of directions just to get that color not only mixing, but to get all those cool like patterns going. Here we go. And as you can see, all of that paint is going to just start sloshing off. And so far I have kind of this toxic wasteland look on the top. So I kind of want to adjust that a little bit. And so careful, you can either just set it back in the paint, which is what I'm going to do because I'm not worried about getting messy. Otherwise, maybe set this on something that's a little higher up. You can always use the lids as a support if need be. I'm just gonna set mine down. So I did like that purple and how it turned out. So I'm gonna put some of that here at the top. Yeah. I'm actually gonna do a little bit of this gray. Oh, and that didn't blend as well as I wanted either. So I'm gonna mix that one more time. Pop that there in the center. And I'm also gonna do red. And I'm actually gonna do the red here with a little bit of green in the center, because you can never have too much green. So we have this going. I'm gonna tilt my screen just a little bit so you can see this better. Here we go. Let's go ahead and we're gonna tilt it all sorts of directions, give it all sorts of different colors and shapes, and kind of let it drip into its own pattern. And you'll be repeating this over and over and over again until you have a design that you're happy with. So I'll tune back in here in a moment with how ours is coming along. Okay, oh, I got paint all over my mouse pad. That's okay. Once you're done, you should have a beautiful work of pour art. And mine is still drying. You'll watch as it moves. And you'll just kind of keep moving it around until you have the design you want. You don't have to use all the colors. I wanted to use all the colors just because it's a lot of colors and it's cool. You should also, if you did like I did and just set it down in the paint, look at the back. That could also be a fun design to work with too. If there's different shapes you want to use, I have one of my popsicle sticks here, and you're always welcome to give it like just a quick line just to add some of that texture, you know. Here we go. I'm gonna actually do 2 lines, give this a real veiny look. But otherwise, if you're done, here we go. Yeah, that looks cool. If you're done, you can set this aside on your popsicle sticks on a new, either on the cardboard or somewhere where it's not going to necessarily get too interrupted by anything knocking it around and therefore ruining it. And you're just going to let it dry about 24 hours, and then you'll be ready to hang it. Oh, that's stuck there. And you should be good to go. I just thought of another quick tip for anyone who's wanting to play with colors. You can either use your popsicle stick or your finger. If you press in and pull down, you can get kind of a neat little gradient effect there. So if you're wanting something more like this, use one of your popsicle sticks to slosh that paint downward until you have that interesting mishmash of color there. I'm going to do this half and half. That'll look really cool. So there's some tips for you. You learned how to do this. You've also learned how to make a really cool piece of art. And with that, we are good to go. So I hope you enjoyed this today. I'm going to first set this down, and then I'll give my closing spiel. Give me just a second, everybody. Whoop. And I'll turn my camera a bit so you can see how I have it set up. So it's hard to tell right away, but those are 3 popsicle sticks supporting that weight there. Okay, oof, that was challenging. Thank you again for joining us today. We did the scaled down pour art. It's only scaled down because usually you see this on really big canvases instead of the 6-inch ones, but you can do this on any size. If you want a more plasticky look, you're going to want to use a resin type paint or just using acrylic. I hope everyone had a good time today, and thank you for joining us. Check out ppld.org for more information on programming and other upcoming events. And if you like this video, like and subscribe and just let us know. Thank you again. Have a good day.